Well, this is a story about 400 acres down in southeastern Oklahoma. I was very fortunate to get a great group of guys together to go in on this property. We had a plan to buy it, and then a plan to build a cabin. We call the property Pine Ridge, and we actually named the company that we formed Pine Ridge Investments. Not only are we building the cabin, we're actually doing a lot of improvements to the land itself. The land is extremely rough, all timber, needs a road system. We got to clear a cabin site. We got to clear some spots for some food plots. Got to clear some spots to hold some water, so it'll hold water year round. But the cabin itself is pretty simple. 2 bedrooms. And, we'll have a mud room. And one of the cool things about it is we'll have a walk-in cooler. Woo! Well, it is day 1 of construction here on Pine Ridge here in southeastern Oklahoma. As you can hear behind me, and maybe see behind me, there is a dozer running right now, clearing out the cabin site. This is taking a lot of work to get to this point. Got a great group of guys that have went in on this property with myself, and a lot of planning has been involved, a lot of trips down here, a lot of not only leg work, but also work as far as development and planning. So very excited to see it come to fruition, and super excited to get it done. But I'm proud, I'm grateful right now. We're clearing out a pad site. We got a lot of things that we're doing, adding features to the property, a lot of roads improvements, as well as building some water pools for the wildlife, and to add some aesthetics to the property in these beautiful creeks that are running through these mountains. So I am going to watch Mark do his magic and just be proud. I'm super excited here down here in southeast Oklahoma at Pine Ridge. Not only is this property 100% vegetation, with dense trees, it's extremely rocky. If you're familiar with southeastern Oklahoma at all, you know how rocky it is. So making these new roads and blazing these new roads through this timber not only was difficult because of the trees, but also the actual rocks in the soil provided its own set of challenges. Well, we are in the heat of the action, literally, right now. As you can tell behind me, right in that region, really on both sides of the road, we are trimming up the road. And basically what we're doing is just doing some landscaping, making it a little more aesthetically pleasing coming down the driveway. We'll do the same thing around the cabin site itself, as well as along the Creekside Road, which is a brand new road that we dozed out here a few weeks ago. Another thing that we did today is we squared up the cabin. Keith and I did. Ain't that right, Keith?
Right.
See, that's right. We squared the cabin, ready to go. We're supposed to have an excavator down here today, but it was supposed to be raining all day, and as you can tell, it's not raining right now, but thunderstorms are supposed to be rolling in, so we canceled, and I'm gonna push that back till next weekend. So I got the big man Hayden coming down the road as we speak, so that's big news. Hey, Hayden. He didn't say hey back.
Oh yeah, it goes all the way.
So right here, we decided to go with a septic chamber leach field that would come out of our septic tank and leach out into the ground here. As you can see, the excavator is having difficulty with rock that's actually in our leach field. So luckily we did bring a hammer drill to attach to this Mini X. But right now we're trying to get what we can out of the hole with this bucket and claw. And my dad is here playing with this rock because he is basically a child. Here we are actually laying out the septic chambers to make sure that, we'll get the right distance on the trench. And now we attach the hammer drill so we can break apart some of these bigger rocks that are in our way, so we can drop these chambers down in this trench. Hi, Key.
Hello.
Is it raining?
Big fat rain.
Big fat raindrops. Trying to figure out how to run that Kubota. Well, we've been working for about 4.5, 5 hours now, and as you can tell behind me,
Okay, now swing to the left.
that is a lateral line that we just buried, and we actually caught a break. We didn't have to use the hammer that much. There was 2 big rocks that we did have to use the hammer for, but it could have been a lot worse, and frankly, I was expecting a lot worse. So we're finishing up burying, pretty much all the septics. Except for obviously the septic tank. Septic tank's going to be an above ground unit. It's going to dump into obviously this septic line. But the very next thing we're going to do, we've already squared. You can see our batting board behind us set up everywhere. We've pulled the strings. We've marked our posts where they're going to be. It's a lot of them, 27 different posts. The very next thing to do as soon as we get all this buried is digging the post and then dealing with that. So we'll see. It's going along. Hopefully we can catch a break and not have to dig up a whole bunch of rocks with the post. So we were concerned we weren't going to be able to actually dig a hole with the post hole digger because the ground is so rocky. So our plan was to use the excavator to dig out a large hole.
While we're cutting holes in the buckets. Can't say I've ever done this before.
And then basically use the bucket as a form around the posts themselves, which would be the foundation for the cabin that we're about to build. And then we pack the soil in all around the posts, and then once they all tie together, everything's on solid ground and won't go anywhere. That's the plan anyway. What we doing, Dad?
Fix to set that pole. Yeah. Hurry up, we gotta get it done. One time film, let's go.
Well, we're just finishing up. First day here setting posts. As you can tell, we got the outer rim set. We gotta set these big long 14 footers. We're gonna try to set those up before dark. But I don't know if you've noticed or not. We had to set the post inside of the 5-gallon buckets as a form inside of a large hole. So now we're trying to make sure everything stays even as we fill the hole back in. Dad's on the excavator. He's holding the level and the pole. And I'm filming. Classic BA. What's it look like, Keith? Looks pretty much.
Water. No standing water. Okay.
So what are we doing?
Same thing as yesterday. With little different conditions.
We got 87 inches of rain a couple hours ago.
Yep.
Approximately 87 inches. Hey, but look, the ground doesn't hold that water that well, so our septic system's going to do great. Day 2, and we are finishing up. All the posts are set. Now we're doing the cleaning up around the holes. Gonna make it look nice. We got big rain coming in this week. So, got Keith burying stuff. Dad also burying stuff. I'm filming, so no, It's been great. We've got a lot of work done the last 2 days. The posts are set, which was quite the arduous process for someone that doesn't know what they're doing, like myself. Made some mistakes, but feel good about it. Feel like we're gonna have a good base to this cabin. Ready to get the floor joists on, which will happen in the next couple weeks. And then start building walls, which will happen in the next, I don't know, within the next 4 weeks for sure. So I say for sure loosely. But very exciting things happening down here at Pine Ridge. Back down here at Pine Ridge cabin. Keith behind me. We've been down here since daylight, and we spent the better part of 2 hours getting everything lined up, measured, chalk lines, all that. We got transit behind us. Basically what we're doing, marked all the posts, chalk lined all the posts to match up with our transit lines. And now we're gonna get a skill saw and our reciprocal saw out, start hacking these posts off to the bottom of our floor. So, and then we'll start laying floor joists, which is those 2x10s right behind me. Exciting times. Well, we have been working. It is 1 o'clock. We got here right at daylight, and we finally got a rim joist up. Now, here's the part. This was by far like the most important thing we did today. Now we're about to start hanging floor joists. But the thing that we had and that we learned in all this is we use a ratchet strap right there, connected to the bottom of a big pole that we have concreted in, as well as a ratchet strap on the other corner to actually square up the rim joist itself. So I feel really good. We made a couple of mistakes as far as we put the post on the wrong side of the line when we laid this out. So all of our stuff's going to be 5 inches long. I hope Kevin, my father-in-law, ain't too upset, but super pumped. The cabin right now is perfectly squared. All the sides are the same length. The diagonals are the same length. I feel incredibly accomplished. So now we got a lot of work to do still. A lot of work. As you can tell, there is no floor joist down. So we're gonna start with that. And before you know it, we're gonna be ready to lay some floor down. So super excited. Keith's over there enjoying some jerky. What are you eating there, Keith? Jerky. American made. And that communist jerky. End of work today, and as you can see behind me, we got floor joists. Keith right there in the background. We are getting everything packed up and cleaned up. Gonna head back home. We'll be back down here in a week from today. And we got one layer of the rim joist all the way around it. We got to put the outside layer, but everything is straight, knock on wood. Everything is square, knock on wood. We did make a mistake or two, but how would this be an adventure if everything went perfect? So super excited, ready to see what next week brings, but very grateful and pretty proud right now. So we're gonna get packed up. It's hot. We're tired. Let's go. Well, this is our 3rd trip of construction, correct, Keith?
Correct.
And we have got the floor down. Keith did a great job of cutting all day. I hammered, and now we are setting up camp. Got the griddle about to get going. We haven't ate today. Have you ate today?
No.
We haven't ate today. Get our tent and everything set up. The other guys are coming in shortly, hopefully. Not really 100%. And we should be ready to go by dark. We still got a bunch of stuff to do before it gets dark, but I think camping is gonna be the next priority. So super excited. Got a floor today. Pretty exciting times here at Pine Ridge. Today on Cooking Stuff with Keith Birch.
Poor people food.
Beef hot dogs, eggs, bologna.
Delicious.
That's a large flame, sir.
That is awesome.
Is that flame OSHA approved?
It is.
It's a nice spaceship you're sitting in there. Blast off! What an absolutely perfect way to end day one of the big weekend down here at Pine Ridge. Kind of got a bonfire. We're burning a bunch of brush that we cut a couple weeks ago. But we got the floor laid down, got everything prepped, we got all the headers made, got all the corners and the T's done, ready to put up walls tomorrow. It's gonna be a big day tomorrow, Keith.
Yes.
Got all the material delivered, all the trusses here, everything's sitting here. We just gotta put together. It's a big puzzle. Good thing Kevin's gonna be here tomorrow, because he knows how to put that puzzle together better than any of us, for sure. Here we go. So now we got 4 of the 6 guys are here, plus my father-in-law, Kevin, who's actually straw bossing this whole thing. He's had 30 plus years of construction and GC experience, so he knows how to boss a bunch of dummies around. So what we're doing here is we're putting up the walls and doing the framing.
You caught me in a stretch here. Jeez, awkward camera.
We got Ricky. Ricky's here. Keith's here. Hayden spraying sun repellent because he gets sunburned in the moonlight. What are we doing, Hayden? What are we doing today?
Building cabin.
Kevin's over there. Hi, Kevin. Kevin wave. Now that the frame is up, we're gonna deck the outside, and now we have all 6 guys actually in camp. So now it's just a matter of getting the OSB up on the outside of this building. We did have an accident. Unfortunately, we did drop a board on Hayden's head, and we quickly went to Dollar General and bought a bunch of medical devices, including crazy glue, and then went to the hotel room in which Kevin was staying at, and luckily he let us in and doctored Hayden's head up right there in the hotel room in Wilburton, Oklahoma. And you can see here Kevin crossing his arms in disapproval. The next day, we started putting the decking on the roof, and we wrapped the house in house wrap. Final day here at the Pine Ridge property, and if you can tell, I'm standing on a felted roof. Get the boys back here. I'm checking measurements up here just to make sure everything's ready to go. About to put the metal on. It's very satisfying. This is day 4. Very satisfying 4 days. So we went from having sticks in the ground to having a cabin. So pretty excited about that. Pre-drilling holes right now. You're putting metal up. What'd you do?
Broke my tip.
What are we doing, Key?
Putting the septic tank under the house.
Putting a septic. What kind of septic tank are we putting in?
An above ground septic tank.
Have we ever done anything like this?
Never. I didn't even know they existed till now.
Down here at Pine Ridge, yet again, for another wonderful day of work. And today, Keith and myself are putting in this above ground septic tank. In the house, we're gonna hook up the septic system. We're gonna run wire, run PEX in the house, do a bunch of stuff in the house too, but right now, that is our priority. As you can see, I put the outlet in there at the house. I made a access hole. That was obviously to be able to put the T inside of there. There's a port. You can see the coupling up there, right there, where the water and the stuff will go into the tanks. 300-gallon tank. It'll drain into our leach field that we dug about a month and a half ago. So that's the plan. Sitting there pushing it in. We dug a couple bays out and had a plan of attack. And so far it's working. I just gotta get in there and get it done. Keith's running away. Where you going, Keith? Water. That there, folks, is what we've been working on all day. And this is going to be a walk-in cooler. It's about 8 by 8. Got some heavy duty ceiling joists. And having a walk-in cooler on an off-grid cabin is definitely going to be a unique addition to this cabin, to this property. A lot of work, and time is ticking by rapidly. So Keith and I actually would go down there for a few days at a time and stay in a tent. And in this case, we actually stayed in the cabin itself, but we were enjoying a little surf and turf with a beautiful Oklahoma sunset. Here is our solar array that's going to go in our mechanical closet, and this will control a set of lights in the living room, plus we'll have an outlet in each one of the rooms, charge phones and stuff. Hello. Had to pop it out and I had to get in here to do it. It's pretty claustrophobic in here. Let me see, I'll give a tour. This is the inside of a 1,100-gallon water pump. It's so hot in here. If Keith's shut down right now, I would literally have a heart attack. Sure is hot in those pinos. We decided to go with the closed cell spray foam on the exterior walls, and we felt like this was going to be a lot more efficient way of insulating the house than going with the traditional bats. We put open cell actually in the floor of the walk-in cooler, so there's about 10 or 12 inches of spray foam on the bottom of our walk-in cooler. And we actually decided to put our floor down before we put our interior walls up. That way there'd be a lot cleaner look. We were just going to be careful whenever we were putting the walls up that we didn't scuff or scratch the floor as little as possible. It's a big moment. It's a Pine Ridge cabin. We have lights. We have walls. We have floors. We do not have the trim up yet, but my goodness, things are coming along here. As you can see, the trim's not done. We have everything turned on. We just turned the generator on for the very first time. All the lights are working. We haven't put all the screws up in the ceiling, so you might see some waves in the metal. That will be gone. My goodness, I am a proud papa. Well, as you can tell, there's a giant bonfire going behind me. As you can probably also tell, we're standing in a very close to being done cabin. Got Keith right there in bedroom number 1 over my shoulder. Look at this. Got a lot of work to do, a lot of trim. We haven't put all the screws in the ceiling, so you might see some waves. But got the generator hooked up. All the lights are working. As you can tell, I just turned on, those are solar lights. Those are running strictly off of solar power. And all of the air conditioners are working, which is a welcome sight after 2 long days here in southeastern Oklahoma. But all the Pine Ridge guys are in camp. Getting some work done. So the end of August rolled around. We got the metal siding up. We were almost finished. And it was time for me to leave for my annual voyage for the fall for hunting. And so a lot of the work fell on the rest of the guys, and they did a great job finishing up a lot of the trim, installing, you know, all the bathroom fixtures, the water. My dad was down there helping quite a bit with Keith. And I was able to make it back up and look at it all right after hunting season. Well, here we are in the original Pine Ridge cabin. Incredibly proud, and it's amazing to be with a group of guys at Pine Ridge. We got this all put together, and the way that it turned out is just it's out of this world, man. I'm truly proud. So we ended up making a oh, look at this bed. We ended up making a 2-bedroom cabin with an open kitchen and dining living area. Both rooms got 2 full bunk beds, fully functional bath. All of this is 100% off the grid, and that's kind of what you got to do out here in the mountains of southeastern Oklahoma. Here is our mechanical closet with our solar array of batteries right there, and it goes to, we got living room lights right there. We got bedroom 1 and bedroom 2, which controls a plug-in in each one of the bedrooms. There is our hot water tank. It's a tankless hot water ran by gas, which comes from the outside, obviously. We got an RV water pump, which pumps water from the 1,100 gallon tank outside into the house. That is ran off of the solar, so whenever the solar is on, we always have the ability to pump water. Oh, we got spray foam, which really helps with the efficiency of the cabin itself. We got metal ceilings, 2 full bunk beds in each bedroom, full kitchen sink, propane range and stove with hood vent, propane refrigerator. It's like a 26 cubic square foot refrigerator. It's pretty big, pretty darn big. Air unit that's on the ground right there, and then gas range, and then we got a locker room. We ended up not finishing the locker room with lockers. We were going to put lockers all down this wall and down that wall to come in, you know, from a day of hunting. Here we are in the walk-in cooler. This is actually one of the staples of this particular cabin is the fact that it has a walk-in cooler on an off-grid, 100% off-grid cabin. And as you can see, we have not finished the floor yet, but that'd be as simple as painting like a garage finish on the wood there. And as you can see, we got a drain, and that drain does go to the outside. Water is plumbed in right here behind this wall. There's our unit right there. It's an air unit with a cool bot attached to it, and that allows us to get, you know, into the low 30s in here and hang whatever you want to. So, to be honest, this is one of my favorite additions to this whole property is this walk-in cooler. The fact that it's 100% off grid and as a fully functional cooler is, you know, definitely a good selling point. All right, so there's a cooler. There's a front door. There's a cooler. Then right around here is where all the magic happens. We did not actually get around to making the generator house. We were gonna make a powerhouse right here to put our generator in. But as you can see, it's pretty beefy little generator. We got it wired with propane right here, which goes over here to this 100-pound tank. Now, the plan was to put a 250 gallon or a 500 gallon tank right here that would control the house, but we found out that this 100-pound tank that you can get pretty much at any hardware store was more than sufficient to run the house for, you know, weeks at a time. So the whole house is plumbed and gassed from right here, and then it also runs our generator. And then we got a 50 amp plug right here that's plugged in. That actually goes into our breaker box inside the house. And then we have a 30 amp plug right here, which actually runs the, it goes into this 30 amp plug right here. And that actually runs the entire walk-in cooler, that whole room. So we have a water capture system from the roof coming from both sides, going to a 1,100 gallon tank. We got overflow right here, which kicks it out, you know, back behind the tank there, and then an inlet or an outlet that goes into the house right here. So it's incredible to have a great group of guys to actually get this done. Pine Ridge Investments, and but just, man, it smells like home in here. I love it, absolutely do. You can see here the driveway and the cabin from the air. In this photo, if you look at the right side, you can see the two of the ponds that we built below the cabin, below that hill. And then this view right here kind of gives you an idea of how isolated it is in this dense forest. This cabin itself is about 45 minutes from town. Here's a view of it from the air, and this is the finished product. 100% off-grid cabin in southeastern Oklahoma.